2.
Once I called you brother, once I thought the chance to make you laugh was all I ever wanted. And even now, I wish that God had chose another, serving as your foe on his behalf is the last thing that I wanted. This was my home. All this pain and devastation, how it tortures me inside. All the innocent who suffer from your stubbornness and pride.
Everyone, welcome to Zeitgeist Zealots. I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
I'm Robbie.
Matt.
I'm Chip.
And never listened to Zeitgeist Zealots before. We're a pop culture podcast. And today we're covering Season 2, Episode 2 of House of the Dragon, Episode 5 of The Acolyte, and Season 4, Episode 4 of The Boys? Episode 4 of The Boys, okay. So
hard to keep track of after they dropped those 3 to begin with.
I know.
A lot has gone on. It's been there's a lot of blood, right? It's gonna be a massive cleanup on set. But let's get into House of the Dragons. We're gonna start off slow and boring, like House of the Dragons. Is that what we want to do? I think that's good for the podcast. Slow and boring,
picked up at the end.
Actually,
little bit.
Can I?
Oh yeah.
Can I ask you guys, since this is relevant to everything we're reviewing today? We saw maybe 2 of the greatest performances of this season, right? Between Anthony Starr, Homelander, in episode 4 was just the best I've ever seen him. Some of the greatest acting. But also, Rhys Ifans, who plays Otto Hightower this episode, was just also fantastic. Right, and we're gonna get to it, but when he is flipping out on the king for killing all this rat catchers, like I just thought he was excellent acting from this man.
So fantastic, he got fired.
He got fired?
What?
In the show?
Oh, in the
show,
yes.
Not
okay,
life. Yeah, he was removed. His hand is
never a good sign when you remove the hand. Just saying.
That's usually a something bad's gonna happen after the hand's removed.
Usually.
But yeah, the first I think like 3/4 of the episode were like pretty dull. It's just fallout from
the last episode.
The prince getting killed.
It was all dull.
The king was upset. They caught one of the assassins pretty quick.
They caught blood.
He was walking around with a child's head in his sack. I would think like maybe you should like hide it low for a little bit.
Idiot.
Yeah. Well, they were kind of like have y'all seen the movie Sin City?
Yeah.
Like who are the guys' names? Like Clump. Something.
Yes, that's a great movie.
Yeah, so there's 2 inept henchmen. So it was kind of like a much darker version of that.
Yeah. So they capture blood.
Well, I will say this though.
Yeah.
What I loved about Game of Thrones, they're not doing in Hot D. I was 100% convinced and just that, but the over morbidity, the being like overly morbid. I really thought when they were doing the procession with the kid that his head was gonna fall off and roll away. Not that a wheel was gonna get stuck. And
that'd been like Scary Movie 3.
Well, but Game of Thrones would have totally done that. They're not willing to go that far, and I think that's the frustrating part I have.
Well, that would have been like almost comical because if you ever seen like Scary Movie 3, like the exact same thing happens.
See, I wonder
at like her wake. They're at her wake, and her head falls off, and like her mother picks it up or something, or like the coffin rolls, and her.
How do you
like,
show
her head comes out.
how inept, this administration is, for lack of a better phrase, how inept this king is, which you're trying to do,
right?
Then he can't even go and have a proper procession, and it comes off kind of comical, but in the same way it serves a purpose of showing that they can't even do this correctly,
right?
So by doing something Game of Thrones would have did, that's more to it.
Could have been cool. I'll tell you this, maybe I'm just used to the boys, but I really thought they were going to do the procession headless. I didn't think they were going to attach the head at all. right? Because he was talking, he's like, you should let them see what they did, and it's like, oh, dude, are we about to see a headless kid?
Oh.
And then
Yep.
it didn't.
Yeah,
Like,
how do they even know that's the right kid then?
Well,
The head. They
also
had to
too,
put the head back on.
why is the cut so clean? It's literally a straight line, whereas
Dude.
in the previous episode you see him like sawing.
you hear him sawing
you know,
anyway.
Yeah.
No,
You know.
chop, yeah.
So
God.
Yo, cheese
Not to be overly-
cheese is very good.
They get through the bone.
But my overall opinion before we really deep dive into it, have you ever seen? There's an episode of Family Guy way back in the day where Brian is a seeing eye dog, and he brings him to the Blair Witch Project, and he's like, "Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. They were killed by a witch. Everybody's getting up. And everybody looks pissed."
Nope.
Right. That's how I feel about this episode. Right. Nothing happens, and this is the same thing I said last season. Nothing's actually happening. It is a soap opera, but we call it Hot D and put dragons in there, whereas it's really just The Young and the Restless.
Well, something happened at the very end. The twin duel was pretty interesting. It does suck because I was like, okay, he's gonna kill a twin, but the actor will still have a job, because there's two, and they're like, oh no, they're both dead. Okay.
Let's jump right into that.
Let's jump right into that sword.
Okay,
Did it at least do it
no,
better
no.
than Acolyte, Matt? That's what I want to
no,
know. Did it
it
handle
is
twin
seriously-
impersonation better? Okay.
It is seriously the worst cliche ever. Which one's the real Spider-Man? Which one's the real Peter? Which one's the real... I thought they were making fun of me as I was watching it. It is literally the worst cliche to have, I don't know which one's the real one, and that's how we end the episode? Fuck off. Like, I'm so mad. I'm so mad.
See, this is my favorite
Rhaenyra
part.
should have made her Sir Eric have like a rainbow afro on at all times in case her brother ever came to.
But you have to admit it's lazy story writing,
Mhm.
and when you do see it, you laugh at it because it's comically bad. And the fact that Hot D is, hey, let's have this in here. Which twin's the real one?
Well, see, I'm glad they didn't cut their foreheads. Like, hey, I'm gonna mark myself so you can tell the difference between me and my clone or a twin. I'm glad they didn't do that because that is ultra cliche. But when I say this is my favorite part of the episode, it's because of you, Matthew. You instantly texted the group your frustration with this trope, and I was like, "Don't worry, the Acolyte will do it next week." Just joking. Right? I mean, of course I'm being serious, I'm being facetious, I'm being sarcastic, but there's a little bit of truth and every bit of sarcasm. And the Acolyte did do that. We're going to get into the Acolyte a little bit later here in the episode, but let's do a comparison first. Well, I guess you really can't because the Acolyte's about to do this next week, right? We'll talk about it. But
well, it kind of already did. It did like in the second episode. OSHA impersonated May. Now May's impersonating OSHA.
Oh, that's
because they're at the
true.
bottom of the barrel of ideas. So they've already done it. Now they're doing the reverse now. So it's like, House of Dragon at least just did it once. I'll give them that.
Oh,
let me ask you this, Matt. Why even have twins if you're not going to do that, though? Right? That's like the only point you would even write twins into your storyline is to be able to do one of these Freaky Friday situations. Not Freaky Friday. Parent Trap. Yeah. One of these Parent Trap situations. R.I.P. You guys remember when Lindsay Lohan was hot?
Predictable. You don't want to be predictable, I guess.
I agree with
You can
that.
actually write other storylines that involve the twins. Just the fact that they are on opposite sides is intriguing enough. They are twins. They were born together, and yet they are now enemies. Is enough of storytelling that I want.
What
And
about
to throw this in, because that's like really think. You literally grew up with this guy your whole life, everything you've done together, and now you're split. Great, end it there.
Mm-hmm. Goodbye, Dave Filoni. See you later.
See you, Dave.
See ya.
So
back to House of Dragon.
Gonna...
Before we go back to before we really dive into the Acolyte, what did you think about the rat catchers? Right. So Blood. Yeah, Blood doesn't know Cheese's name. Cheese is the rat catcher who kicks the dog. Yeah, that's gonna come up here in a second. But
so the audience wouldn't feel bad for him.
Yeah. So the Blood just says. So Blood. The Night's Watch, or not Night's Watch, the gold cloaks, right? Or white cloaks, whatever they're called.
White cloaks.
White cloaks, thank you, sir. The white cloak says, I just know he was a rat catcher. So what does this dumbass king do? He kills all the rat catchers in his employ. Bro, if If I was a chef, if I was anything, working for the king,
chef?
I'm out. Dude, like, are you telling me that one of my employees can be or one of my coworkers can be a dumbass, and I'm gonna get killed for it? Nah, dude, I'll get a job somewhere else. Like, that was so stupid. And Otto Hightower really exclaims it and really drives that point home. But how is that, like, seeing all the bodies hanging up and the woman's, like, walking by and she's like, what's happening? They're like, that's the rat catcher. And you see, like, the dog, and the dog's, like, mourning Cheese, even though Cheese kicked him for some reason. I thought
Oh, did I say
beautiful
and
scene.
then, and then Blood's like, oh, did I say rat catcher? I meant hat snatcher. Just like a different job.
But also too, and this goes to the frustration I have in not going full Game of Thrones. Like, when you are hanged, you don't look perfectly fine, and like you have makeup on and everything. Like,
Right.
you know, it looks pretty gruesome. And for
Your
them to like
eyeballs
look
a
like,
lot of times pop out.
yeah,
by the way.
exactly. You're not going to be perfectly white. You know, it's just like it looked like a scene. It looked like
Probably
a scene. I
poop
don't know how else
yourself.
to say it. You know.
Who was the president that they accidentally put decapitated head in season 1 of Game of Thrones? Was that Bush? Do you guys remember that controversy? That would have been.
Yes,
What?
yes,
It was Bush.
It was a Bush mask.
So
that they put on a-
allegedly, it was very accidental, right? They just needed props.
story
they needed
was-
heads,
he
and that
went
was just
to a
a
Halloween
head.
store.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to a Halloween store and got a bunch of
And
Bush
then
heads.
put makeup and
100%
stuff on.
That was not accidental.
Not accidental.
It wasn't.
Now, if I was them, I would definitely say, yeah, that's very accidental. But we know.
Yeah.
100%. But
They should have.
Yeah,
they should have
that
put one of those. They should have put a George Bush head being hung as nice little homage to season 1 of Game of Thrones. If you're gonna do this right for the fans, you need to do the deep Easter eggs. You need to do the deep cuts.
The deep Easter eggs.
But the issue here is that we don't have the gruesomeness, for lack of a better word, that Game of Thrones was known for.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Or the
It's-
boobs.
and I was thinking as I was watching the episode, when I read the books, I love reading the political intrigue. It just keeps you flipping pages. But for some odd reason, it's not really translating well to watching a show. Like, if this were a book, man, I'd probably finish 200-300 pages in a night. But watching this just seems like a slog.
Political intrigue is really hard to do. I believe that is a super hard thing to do for writers, like screenwriters.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
like
the
Aaron
good one.
Sorkin's definitely.
Yeah,
Aaron Sorkin's the
Sorkin's
goat with
the-
West Wing.
Mm-hmm. Even that failed TV show Hollywood 52 or something like that. I think Aaron Sorkin touches really. I tend to enjoy. I really enjoy his writing. Matt, I think you're onto something there. I remember. Let me ask you guys as fans. I'm just talking to the fans. Comment down below. What do you guys, if you relate to this? But I remember watching actual Game of Thrones and getting legitimately upset and pissed off that they're wasting our precious 8 or 10 episodes, right, on this stupid scene where they're talking. You just two minor characters are talking for 10 minutes, and you're like, "What are you guys talking? We need to move this along. We only have 10 precious hours of Game of Thrones a year." And you guys are going to waste 10 minutes on this dumb conversation about grass growing or something. But I don't feel that here, right? You're right. This is a slog. This is a waste. There are so many dragons in this TV show now, right? Not just 3 or 2 or 1, but
Yeah, it used to be kind of a rare epic scene.
Yeah, and now you're just like, oh, it's a
Well,
boring,
there
slow
was-
episode. Yeah, I know. Like, and like, are we used to it? Like, have they successfully beaten me down and my standards down?
But here's the thing too: they have all these dragons. When are they being used?
They're not.
They're not
Off screen?
They got used at the end of last episode. At the last episode of season 1, where you have what's his name killing what's his name. Exactly my point. And then you have like maybe a scene where a dragon kills some soldiers last season, but so far this season, what have they done?
Nothing.
He just like leaves
Flown
the
around
cage.
on patrol.
he just leaves a cave, I think, on the dragon, and that's probably where most of the budget for this episode went, for that one shot of him leaving the cave.
There was that one good scene last season where an egg was being stolen, and they used the dragon on the bridge, and it was kind of like this standoff going on.
That was cool.
That was kind of cool.
I remember that.
But we're 2 episodes in, and what have the dragons done? They've flown around briefly, and then back to the young and the restless.
Mm-hmm.
Out for a ride.
Yo, can we just talk about how much Christian Cole sucks? He sucks so
100%.
hard.
100%.
Everyone seems to dislike him online.
So I both
Yeah.
love and hate the writing behind his character, because here's a man that has failed upwards, and it's good writing.
Yeah.
Because
When you get that hot D, you get that hot
so much,
D.
because he's the one having sex with what's her name once again, on the
Allison.
night that the kids are killed.
Mhm.
And he's blaming the twin. Where were you? You were in charge.
Mhm. He's like yelling at Eric.
It's frustrating because there is some good writing sometimes in the show, but
Let me ask you this: is this good writing?
You know who I hate more? You know who I hate more than Christian Cole?
Who?
Eric and Eric's parents. Eric and Eric parents.
Yes.
Giving them different names.
No.
Like, yeah, I watched the show subtitles. Like, one's Eric with an A,
Yeah.
one's Eric with an E. I'm like, oh, come on.
It's awful. But what about
you can't
Jaehaerys
go one
and Jaehaera? Right? This is very common. I was
Oh,
going to
yeah.
bring this up later. Fuck George R.R. Martin for having 1,000 characters. Even the dragons have names that you have to effing fucking remember, right? And so don't make the names so hard. Like, wait, is Jaehaerys the boy or is Jaehaera the boy? I can't remember. Like, is Eric the good guy or is Eric the good guy? Right? And like, when I'm talking to my buddies about Eric, I have to specify Eric with an A or Eric with an E. Bro, George, this is not how you write names in high fantasy, brother. All right?
It's fine. Like it's fine in like a book because you can like see the letter E and letter A. But when you're hearing it, you're just like, which one? I have no, call one Tim.
That brings me back to my point that and if this were a book, this would be amazing. And this is kind of
it is a book. There is a book out there, kind of.
And I will flip through the pages, but it just does not. I don't know why Hot D is just not translating well to this media.
Well, Fire and Blood's not really like a novel. It's kind of just like a history book.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
like
history.
yeah.
It's written by like a fictional maester, and the maester is like an unreliable narrator. But it's sort of like the Silmarillion. Where
There's
that's not
also
like a narrative either.
like a jester, a little jester who's lying all the
Catchface.
time. Yeah.
I know.
So, what do you guys
It's kinda
think?
like his catchphrase in the books.
There, in Game of Thrones, we had Clegane Bowl, and they led up to it for 8 seasons. I'm kind of glad that they got this Eric.
Oh wait,
Bowl
I haven't seen
out
it.
of
I haven't seen it. Shut up. I haven't seen it.
I'm
I'm only in season 4.
not gonna stop talking about the last season of Game of Thrones because you're
No,
a decade
no.
behind on a pop culture podcast.
We're talking about House
Yeah,
of the Dragon
Forrest.
today.
It's
talk
been
about it
how
later.
long?
We'll do a Game of Thrones series retroactive. I think one podcast.
Okay.
Because-
No. Stop everything. You know how we were talking last week, guys. If you didn't check out last week's episode, I know I say this every week, but probably our best episode. Actually, I'll say this every week, but last week really was a phenomenal episode because we were talking about good TV shows, not just trash dog shit that we hated. But we all were talking about how George R.R. Martin's just waiting to die, and then Brandon Sanderson's going to take over. I think I read something in the news. Crap, I forgot to put it in the notes. But he's planning on doing that for like a video game.
Elden Ring 2.
Yes.
Elden Cockring.
Yes. Yeah. So he wants Brandon Sanderson to take over. I think on the Elden Ring series.
Well, what about when Brandon Sanderson dies though? Who Sanderson's the Sanderson? Like, who
Bro,
watches
look,
Watchmen?
this is that's a good reference. But you can't think that dark. That's probably the darkest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I mean, I
What
know what you
happens when
mean,
Brandon
but
Sanderson
he's not
dies?
Exactly.
Oh, AI,
He's
AI.
not exactly the peak of health.
We'll get Brandon
younger,
Sanderson
but-
AI to take over, and then Brandon
feel
Sanderson
there's
AI will do it for us.
I feel like there's a Mormon joke in the waiting here.
Is he Mormon? I thought that was Orson Scott
Yeah,
Card. I guess
he's
Mormon
Mormon.
in the world. Okay, that's probably why he can.
Well, at least the line's going to be very short on his own planet when you need a signature.
You can't enjoy alcohol, coffee, or sugar. Well, you know what? I'm not even gonna go there.
No wonder why it's all fantasy. No, okay.
But yeah, anything else happened in this episode? I mean, the who's Valerian, the black dude, his black friend also has a black brother.
Mm-hmm.
And they sort of introduced him. I guess he's gonna like get into some mischief. One of the brothers gonna die. The bald one or the Eric Killmonger one.
And
Probably.
then
both.
his is it his granddaughter or his daughter has that scene where she's shooting arrows and talking to.
Oh yeah,
Nat
I have no
Luke.
idea who that character. I completely forgot because they keep casting them.
It shows
And
how close they are.
I don't think she was in the last season. I think they recasted that actress. So it's like, is that Damon's daughter? I'm guessing.
If only it was
Matt
Amazon.
Damon?
Yeah, it's Matt Damon's daughter.
House of the Damon.
Matt Damon, Matt Damon?
House of the Damon. So let's name the episode.
Dude, that's a show I would watch.
Also the Damon.
Yeah.
I think it's just called
So,
Jason
yeah.
Bourne.
We can talk about Aemond, not Damon or Matt
Ah!
Damon.
Look at him.
Aemond in a whorehouse, like just in a fetal position.
Yeah.
Naked, having a casual conversation.
Because he has mommy issues.
Wait, hold on a second. There's no
I
good
know
there's
his-
dick.
I know his mom is the exact same age as him, so of course he has mommy issues.
Yo, what
Like,
is up
Yeah,
with
if
the
my
age
mom
gap?
was the same age as me, what the fuck?
Olivia Cook is, like,
Seriously,
younger
put
than
yourself in
I
their
am.
shoes. Fuck that.
I mean, look at I'm pretty sure the actor and the actress are maybe like a
Fuck.
year apart in age. It's like so unconvincing. That's like one of the reasons.
That's your stepmother.
No, that's his real mother. In the
Bro,
show,
he's-
that's we're losing you. He's dead, Jim.
Losing tip.
Oh, he's in the cart. Where is he? Driving through a tunnel? All right. Well, bye, Tip. Good to see you, buddy.
Or a dragon cave. Bring
so-
it back on topic.
Forrest, a Dragon Cave. Thank you very much. The Dragon Pits, since we are in Westeros. Good thinking there, Forrest. Now, for those who didn't listen to the podcast last week, Forrest, do you mind just re-emphasizing what actually happens in the books with the murder of Jaehaerys? Right, there's actually a second son, because this is I think one of the dirtiest things, in all of literature. So I thought this was really cool, worth repeating twice. Take it away for us.
Yeah, so in the book, Jaehaerys, I think he's killed, but there's like another son, and they have Blood and Cheese like make her choose which son is going to die, and she chooses the younger one because he's not the heir, but they decide to kill the other one to be cruel. And so the son will always know that his mother chose him for death. So,
dude, how
talk about mommy issues right there, yeah.
Yeah, dude, how awful is that to be like, just to know, like, just walk around for the rest of your life knowing that your mom chose you to die instead of the other one. But also, you're like, well, he is going to be the heir of the king, so I could probably cope with that. Maybe just have a slight drinking problem in Game of Thrones, and then go to the brothel like every week. Yeah, you could probably cope with that.
In a fetal position.
In a fetal position, exactly right, with one eye, right?
Yeah, and neither of those eyes was looking at
The Acolyte.
That mole. The Acolyte, yeah. So
Yes.
I think we covered everything in House of the Dragon.
Yeah, I just want to say
next week,
that the acting
more
is so
dragons.
good. The action is so bad. It's puts you to
Rhaenyra
sleep.
had like literally like ample time to get out of that room. Like she literally could have gone behind good Eric and run out the door.
Not Rhaenyra,
um,
Allison. Rhaenyra's the blonde.
No, Rhaenyra is the one who was going to be assassinated by Auric.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Allison. Well, not Allison. Christian Cole sent Eric to go impersonate Eric. God, my bad. Yeah, sorry.
Rhaenyra the Cruel, more like Rhaenyra the Clumsy.
Ah, get out of here. That was Rhaenyra the Cruel is the name of the episode. Not so cruel.
As making someone watch The Acolyte.
As making someone watch at least the first 4 episodes of The Acolyte. The 5th one might just have some people on board.
It was great to turn your brain
That's a
off
pun.
and just watch the highly choreographed fight scenes, which I will admit were pretty well done. It's just not enough to like save the series. I still don't recommend the series.
No. Shout out to the
but,
trees at the beginning of the episode that blocked the coolest fight scenes. Right? It's like 1 Sith versus 10 Jedi behind 14 trees. That's fucking cool. I really wanted to see that, but I guess that's just not going to happen. All right, I guess we're just going to see a bunch of one-on-one battles because the Jedi don't know how to attack 3 at a time.
The budget trees coming in?
The budget trees. Get the fuck out of here. The budget trees. All right, guys, let's talk about the Acolyte.
So Kamir is apparently Magneto now. He has a helmet. He can't have his thoughts read. I was like, wrong. I think she really just enjoyed X-Men 97 and just wanted to rip it off. She's like, I'm rich at Star Wars.
That's a good idea. Toss that in there.
It's the first good thing Disney's done, so I don't blame her for that.
And if really Saul can read minds, shouldn't he have figured out that it was May, not OSHA?
Wait, if they can sense dark side users, wouldn't they have figured it out when they were interrogating him at the apothecary?
Very good at hiding it. I don't know.
I guess. Also, guys, all right, so we're going to talk about everything.
So he wouldn't even need the helmet.
What is that?
Yeah,
oh.
That's why he did that.
What is that with
the
that?
writers don't even watch, are like so fucking lazy they won't even watch the previous episode.
What is up with that smile that's carved into his helmet? I love that. The internet was like calling him Smilo Ren. But
yeah,
now
everyone's calling him Smilo Ren.
But now that we've seen him without his helmet on, and like a lot of Star Wars ladies and some of the guys out there, you know, because all nerds are gay, are really, really in love. They're calling him the hottest Sith Lord ever. So I propose that we start calling him Kylo Riz. Maybe no, okay, that's all right. I'll sit here awkwardly.
I think it's something.
Thanks, guys. So what's up with that helmet? You know, it's made of a special material. I was watching, I think Screen Rant. No, Heavy Spoilers maybe was talking about it. Cause I wasn't familiar with it. Matt, are you familiar with this special material his helmet was made out of, like quartz or something like that?
No.
Okay, so basically, you guys remember in the fight scenes where their lightsabers kept like disarming or just like turning off? Like basically a little EM
yeah, I
piece.
thought he destroyed them.
So he cuts through one of them, but actually, like you'll see if you rewatch the fight scenes, like every time they hit one of his pieces of armor, whether it's helmet or if it's arm or something like that, the lightsaber temporarily gets turned off, and that's because of the way the properties of the material. Again, I'll put the actual name of there, but we'll call it quartz art for right now. Actually, just disables the lightsaber, just turns it off for a couple of seconds. So that's what was happening in all those fight scenes. I thought originally he was just like using the Force to turn it off.
The Force can do anything. Yeah, the Force just make
the answer to all.
Yeah, couldn't you use the Force to make the button turn?
Yeah, that's what. Yes.
Turn off?
So in theory, yes, but what we learn in I think Rebels is that all Jedi are trained to kind of just make like a force shield around their hand and their lightsaber, so that because else you would just force pull everyone's lightsaber away from them, right? Or just force turn off that switch. But because of the little force shield around your hand, you learn as a Jedi. That's why they're not easily able to get disarmed.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Guys, what did you think about Carrie Ann Moss dying, episode 1, right? Master, whatever her name was, getting killed, stabbed with a little tiny dagger through the heart, and she died. So that's one thing, and then later on we see what was her name? The little girl with the horns.
Daphne King.
Yeah. Dude, she got lit up. Like just 1, 2, 3 stabs. Just pew pew pew.
Also, I want to mention he used I think a laser. He used an actual weapon to kill the Jedi, so he's definitely a fucking hypocrite. As spoketh by Critical Drinker yesterday.
I mean, is he a hypocrite, or is he just a great boss? Because if he's trying to train an acolyte and he wants the acolyte to be, if he's so young, he's got
He
he has tons of time.
Yeah.
He's looking for the right acolyte, and so to do that, you keep your standards high. I know it's 2024, and all of America has forgotten what high standards are like. But this Kylo Ren over here is performing it. He's like, yo, you gotta kill a Jedi without using a weapon. It doesn't mean I have to, right? What?
He's trying to save money on lightsabers, or he has an agile mindset and he's more in a support role rather than expert role. He's like, I'm not an expert in killing people without weapons, but we're looking for someone in this organization.
You could be, yeah.
Who is a subject matter expert, and I can be a supportive role.
All right, so let me talk about this.
Knowledge-based role.
When he was talking about the Sith, it sounded like he was inventing the Sith. It sounded like he was the only one of the Sith. So like,
some people call me the Sith.
Yeah. So like, was he trained by previous Sith and then killed that person?
Well,
and then so now he's looking like there's always like the rule of two, right? And I mean, originally the Sith were people, and then they were appropriated by some evil Jedi, right? Like the Sith and the Jedi have like a symbiotic combination. You can't have one without the other. Like the Jedi or the Sith hate the Jedi. They fundamentally disagree on the
Force. Which is one of the things they should have picked up on Last Jedi. Is like, in order to kill the Sith, we have to kill all the Jedi, or to end all the Sith, we have to end the Jedi. Which I thought he was going for, like when I saw the trailers. But it was just like, no, I'm just sad and depressed and don't want to do this anymore. So it was just like, there's like peaks of good writing there, but not quite. But I think, who's the penis head Jedi? What's his name? Who's supposed to be?
You guys want to talk about that Mundi guy?
The Mundi, yeah. Well, he says in Phantom Menace, like the Sith have been dead for a millennium.
He's 1,000 years. The Sith haven't been seen for 1,000 years.
And then Catholic Kennedy is going to say, well, it was Legends. Like the prequel trilogy is canon, it's Legends now.
That is such a hard clutch. Like, his birthday, because so Robin, if you're not familiar with this, like they were actively changing Wikipedia because I'm Wikipedia that has
there was a bunch of edits going in there to cover for it.
Yeah,
which is crazy because you think if you actually read the script and if you actually knew that this is coming, you would have preemptively edited Wikipedia. You would have reached out and been like, "Hey, do you mind doing this? That way we don't get caught doing it during the episode."
That's how compartmentalized they are.
But it's still relevant because he literally said like the Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
Yeah.
In Phantom Menace, so obviously this is 100 years before Phantom Menace, and that's not the case. So
I agree, and I think what they're trying to go for is that he's part of this elaborate cover-up that the Jedi have been doing for years. And this is another one of the let's show how evil the Jedi are too. The Jedi aren't good. The Jedi are bad. And really, the Jedi's fault that they're not touching upon is getting so ingrained into the Republic, becoming the agents of the Republic, and becoming politicians instead of sitting back.
Lobbyists. Becoming lobbyists. That's what they were.
Yep. They were part. They were played.
They were part of the
rent on Coruscant. The rent on Coruscant's too damn high.
And they were the arm of the deep state on Coruscant.
Yeah, they become part of the government, and that is their biggest failure because it's the first time that the Jedi become part of the government, and that's really their downfall. And that's intriguing enough for me. But now trying to make them out to be evil and purposely bad, whereas it's a bureaucracy and decisions were poorly made. It's just maddening.
I don't know. So like, I don't mind the idea of exploring the possibility that the Jedi have always been evil. I mean, these guys are baby snatching. They're going to planets. They're finding children that can use the Force, and they're taking them whether the parents are okay with it or not. Right? So like, if you want to do that, that's cool. But you got to do it with like good writing. The problem is, the writer's room is no one's intelligent. There's just not an ounce of good writing in this show, so they can't pull off high concept theories or explore intellectually what's happening in this galaxy far, far away.
But if you read the books, there's like a purpose for them going and testing these kids.
They're not reading books. You think these
You know,
guys are reading books?
Kathleen didn't even know there were books. She was just
So-
like, Star Wars is a weird franchise because there are no books to draw from. She literally said that.
That's hilarious. But in the books, they like go out of the way and say like a person who has unchecked power can like die accidentally by using the Force, or they can destroy like a whole community, in an act of rage without knowing they have the Force. So part of taking the like, not to agree with it, but like it's been established in the expanded universe, which is now Legends, as to why this is a policy, and now we're saying fuck that. Let's not draw on the expanded universe at all.
Right. Because we didn't write the expanded universe, so we don't want to. Unless we have ideas. In that case, we're going to steal from the expanded universe, where Disney Plus writers...
From day one, that has been the issue with Disney. The very first thing they did is said, every book that's been written for the last 30 plus years is no longer lore.
Since Splinter of the Mind's Eye, yeah.
Now,
it is no longer part of the canon. We're going to create a brand new canon.
But from a business perspective, you can understand that, right? It just sucks that they were so bad at story writing. Because, like...
From a business perspective, they could have made so much more money had they been more faithful.
But it's just
think about the Empire.
No, think about they could have had two. You can have, like... We like to joke about how, like, timelines and the multiverse and stuff like that. But... Star Wars fans have the
Disney multiverse.
We have the multiverse now, right? Like, you can go and you can read your expanded Legends, right? And you can also read a separate timeline of Disney Plus bullshit that's happening in the same BBY timeline, right?
Yeah, please keep the multiverse away from Star Wars. It's already
no, sorry. No. I'm saying
it's already overused in DC and Marvel.
I'm saying we're experiencing the multiverse. Right, I'm not saying they're adding the multiverse. I'm saying we're experiencing a multiverse because there's multiple worlds. You can go to Legends BBY 17 or whatever, and you can go to New Disney canon. What I'm saying, and I think that's amazing. What I'm saying is it sucks that the Disney writers are awful and the Disney canon sucks, right? But imagine if it was amazing. Like think about
it's hilarious.
Think about how many times we've had Batman be like 25 or 35, right? Like there's 4,000 timelines where Batman's doing like punching the Penguin for the first time or the Joker for the first time. We get to experience that, and that's excellent because there's so many great stories. That's all I'm saying, right? It's just a bummer that Disney wasn't able to reproduce the magic of the expanded universe. You know what I'm saying? Like that would have been so cool to have twice the stories at the same time. That was so cool. It just sucks that they suck. That's all.
It's hilarious that like the multiverse is like it has
Robbie.
actual physics, like theoretical physics, but it's really the multiverse as we know it is more just a ploy by editorial to explain why certain characters and events aren't canon. Like I think like what Jay Garrick and Barry Allen was the first instance of the multiverse that I can think of, and it was just to explain Jay Garrick isn't the Flash anymore because he's in a separate universe. And
that's all the comic books you read in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It's like we're on Earth 352 in this version of X-Men. We're on Earth 187.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to do like an ultimate universe with like new continuity in Marvel. So we'll just make that a separate world. But the Ultimate Spider-Man can visit the 616 Spider-Man. But now Miles Morales is in the 616 universe, and the whole point of Miles Morales is lost now because now we have two characters called Spider-Man, and now we have to decide. It's even in the Spider-Man game is so weird because like they're both called Hey Spider-Man, and like which one are they? Which one's which? So
yeah, especially in 2024, you can't be like the Black Spider-Man. I mean the other. No, you can't do it in 2024. No, yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. How do you identify which Spider-Man's which?
Yeah, they should call it Spider-Man 2 Spider-Men. That's literally what it is.
Well, spoiler alert, I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't even bought a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's a bit of an expense just to play that one game. Surprised it's not on PC yet, but...
I mean, anything to get away from the Halo franchise. But
No, we need to go towards
you
a
know what
different- well,
franchise
not the TV show.
I want to get towards?
We got 5 minutes, yeah.
Bring on season
Yeah,
3
I
of The
do, I
Boys. No, sorry, bring on season 3 of Halo. But let's also bring on season 4, episode 4 of The Boys. The
episode I think this season.
Yeah, the best episode in a long time.
these-
Forrest, you want to take the floor since you only have 5 minutes?
Yeah, episode 2, I think was definitely like classic Boys, had that sort of classic Boys feel.
Mhm.
But yeah, episode 4, with like Homelander going, I guess, to where he was raised and just like slaughtering
Oh,
all the
man,
coworkers there.
That was rough.
Psychological thriller at its finest. That ice
This
cream
was-
cake. Get the plates.
It's just like his just happy attitude towards it all, but it's like such a scary
This was sorta
scenario
like-
in their shoes.
This was like
Marty.
this was the boys version. This was the boys version of the diner episode or the diner issue from the Sandman, where basically like Dr. Destiny goes to the diner and just like terrorizes and just mutilates everyone in the diner.
Mhm.
And this was basically I don't know if that was the intention, but I felt like that was the boys version of that. And just like one of the way you know people like show them the comic a lot. With the comic, I don't think is that bad as people make it out to be. It's just like once you get desensitized to all like just the violence and sex, and you can focus on the story, then it's like pretty entertaining. But yeah, this was a scene that was not in the boys comic, but it was like a great thing that they created.
They're gonna get an Emmy
you know.
from it, that's for sure. This
Yeah,
Emmy starts grabbing an Emmy from this.
Anthony Starr should have like an arrest warrant put on him for almost blinding that guy in a bar in Spain. But you know, he's a good actor too. But it was kind of weird. Like he was very much when method acting goes awry. Basically, is
That's what
happened
I was just about
at
to
that bar in
ask you.
Spain. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if he just got into a fight. I think like broke a ball across a guy's face. We've discussed this on the podcast.
Oh,
before,
damn.
but-
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
almost
we have.
blinded a guy like in real life. So
But we can talk about hot wings or hot ones.
Yeah, that
You get that in your
Did
eye.
you
You're
watch
blind.
that?
I know you did, Robbie. It's still on my queue list. I haven't seen it yet, but it's the
Oh.
Deep. It's the actor who plays the Deep and the Homelander. I skimmed through
Oh,
it. It
nice.
all very fun.
and even the guy, and then the actor for A Train shows up towards the end of it
Oh,
too.
nice.
oh, that's pretty cool. All 3 members of the 7.
All right.
And there's still not 7 members. It's still just 6. I think that's hilarious. The show has never had
Yeah.
7 members of the 7.
Forrest, was it you
well,
last week?
well,
who's...
so-
Go ahead, Matt.
I think the implied fact is that they want his son there, but it's going to come to head here either in, I don't want to say the next episode, but the following episode of his son's track, because his son is the 7th member and will become the 7th member. That's why they have 6.
Mhm.
But there's going to be some friction,
Who's
as we've seen
who's
previously.
whose
So-
influence is he gonna follow?
What's
Exactly.
what's his
Sister
superhero name going to be?
Sage.
He definitely
Home-
seems
Homelander?
to have some
Homeboy.
resistance to Homelander. At least.
Homeboy.
he's
Home
Homeboy.
lad.
Home lad.
Homelander.
That outfit they made, that is just straight Homelander's mini-me outfit.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to Cody Rhodes from WWE, who I'll send this in the group chat. I'll put it up on here. Had the best coat of all time. I'm telling you, Homelander's going to take it in season 5. So I'm just calling it here now. They are brass eagles, bald eagles, for like shoulder pieces. I was like, yo, Kelly, let me get that cape. Let me get that cape. Let me get that cape, Kelly.
What, it was a jacket
comic-
with a cape?
It was a jacket cape, you know, because it wasn't like a traditional like a Superman cape, right? You wear like a jacket, but it flowed like a cape. I'll have to show it to you guys. It's pretty.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
pretty
have to see
epic.
what
Yeah.
you're talking about. It sounds
Again,
cool.
I don't want to like take away from anything, but the best writing, the best costumes, and the best action in 2024 are still on the WWE. It's not the boys. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not the
I'll be watching
Acolyte.
now.
Yeah.
You can spoil. Yeah. I'm gonna sign off, guys. But
Hey, you have a great
let's all
night.
finish. This was a great episode, and y'all have fun discussing it because I had a lot of fun watching it. Not as fun as I did watching season 1 of The Boys, but it was definitely a great episode. So, but yeah, I'm signing off. Y'all are the best.
Have a great night.
Catch
Yeah,
you.
sure. So can we just get to the whole lobotomy scene? with the
Yes,
Oh,
yes, absolutely. Let's
jeez.
go.
Well, because it was teased the episode before, and I'm like, what
You
the fuck
saw.
is this Spike for?
Oh, that's
And she's hooking up with the Deep, and I was like, did she just kill somebody? So great writing because they put Chekhov's garden pick. I don't know what you want to call it. you know?
Yeah.
But the
Lobotomy
fact that the
Spike,
Deep,
yeah.
yeah. The fact that the Deep is that depraved, where he's willing to like lobotomize somebody just to hook up.
That was
Um,
no, that was the best part. He's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not doing that. And she's like, I'll let you fuck me in the butt and while we watch something else. And he's like, let me grab my tools. Like,
where do I go?
love the Deep.
Yeah.
Oh my
But, so
god.
it just,
Hey, oh my god, he
Oh,
calls
Michael.
it.
Like
he-
Forrest has said multiple times, the Deep is just the show's punching bag.
Dude, he asked her earlier in the episode if he wants to take her to Flounder Pounder instead of Pound Town or something like that. Like Flounder. I was like, oh my god.
even though it is crude and it is very just like cringy, it is great writing because though that scene really develops his character and shows you who his character is. And I think that scene alone does more storytelling than Hot D did this week. And it's funny
Really?
because because people watch The Boys and they're like, it's just crude, it's this, it's like, no, but the scenes
Is
all
nuanced.
matter.
Mhm.
Scenes serve a purpose. Like, it doesn't feel like a scene, and everything. Like, the writing is just so much better. Yeah, it's crude. Yeah, we get a pink eye joke from a guy doing Human Centipede to himself. But
Really takes away from the nuance of it.
yeah, but like, there's a reason for it. It serves a purpose in the storytelling. Um, so that's what I love about this show.
You know what else you love about this show? Let's go back to Homelander. Can we talk about how diabolical, how mental he was this episode? Like, he comes in with the cake and he's so happy and he's like, let's go get, was it Barbara? He's like, yeah, call Barbara
it
in.
started off with they just lost contact with like up on the top
the
floor.
security guards? Yeah,
Yeah.
The
you
security
are.
cameras go out, like they don't know what's
Fucked.
going on, and then you see the elevator come down. Like
Oh
that was a good setup there.
Yeah, no, that was so good. And like, it's so creepy because like, he's not gonna take out the security guards and the cameras just to have birthday cake with people. Like, shit's gonna be bad. And then he's so nice. And he's
The
like,
shit
the thing.
they did to him.
Barbara.
Here's the thing.
Barbara's the dumbest person in the fucking world.
100%.
I just want to say that. Don't come in. Don't go.
I love the Easter egg of Fudgy the Whale because it's actually an ice cream cake from Carvel, which used to be this really, really big ice cream shop in the Northeast. I went to college up in the Northeast, and you have an octopus one, you have Fudgy the Whale, and that was like their big thing. And it's kind of funny because that Carvel really is
Funny
like
little things like that.
a tenth of what it is nowadays. So to see something so obscure brought in, so he flew to somewhere in New England where there's only a few stores left,
Grabbed it.
and bought a Fudgy the Whale, and then came back. I think that little Easter egg right there was hilarious.
I liked it. I thought it was a humanizing touch to really juxtapose what happens next, right?
Well, it shows you the lack of humanity he does have, because the only way he feels he can connect with people is by like getting them this special cake. Like, it shows how fake he is, how he can't understand his humanity.
Well, he doesn't
and
want his humanity.
He doesn't want it, but like he doesn't know what humans want, so he goes out and gets, you know what I mean? Like he can't even fake.
Well, he doesn't want his humanity, but as we saw this episode, they brought in the world's greatest psychologist, and he can't live without humanity's love, right? Like, there's the only way they were very smart. The only way you can control a superhero is through the mind, and so they made him.
She made a great point of she was like, let's be honest, you could have broken out of here whenever you wanted to.
Excellent point. Right?
And like that's a good point that I didn't really think about there. He could have busted. Maybe as a kid he didn't know what kind of power he had. I don't.
Let me ask you this: have you guys ever had any? Oh no, he knows what kind of powers he has because they tested him, right? Frank,
at a kid.
Frank puts. Well, maybe not flying.
Well,
right?
I wonder
that
about strength of punching through it. All right, he's punched through this steel door.
I'm telling you, if I can survive all that heat, I'm gonna try to escape.
Oh, dude, the oven.
Yeah, R.I.P. Frank.
That was the first one. Was the
yeah,
oven.
and then Homelander loses the basketball game or waste basketball or whatever he called it.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, Frank, you probably would have lived. What a shame. Let me ask you guys this: if you guys have any terrible nicknames,
like Squirt,
Squirt's not a bad nickname, unless it's how you
then
got
you
the
hear
nickname.
Then he gets into doing what boys do. Just
martyr baiting.
Just the way he brings it into the guy, just cheery and nonchalant about it.
I gotta tell you what, fuck Homelander. He has a jar of white pubes at his house. All right, so he has an enlarged prostate. We know that. Thank you, Sister Sage. We know the Homelander is going through what we usually call old age. So you're gonna laser Marty's dick off because he can't get it hard in front of a bunch of coworkers? That's not how old age works at all. Karma's a bitch, Homelander, and it's coming for you. That's all I'm saying.
The worst part too is it didn't kill him.
Yes, thank goodness Barbara showed up to take him out.
Yeah, Barbara
shows up. She was like, put him out of his misery.
Yeah.
God, dude. That is the woman who will wear high heels and step on your neck for $1,000 an hour. That woman was intense.
But overall
great. So, let's finish it off. So, let's finish off Homelander's part. So, they go into the pain room, or was it the pain room? What was
the bad room?
The bad room, right? And then, dude, I thought so for a long time. I thought that I was just gonna let the rest of them get away with it.
God, why would you walk in that room?
Barbara,
none of them really have a choice again.
Well, no, because you're gonna die, right? But holy hell, that was incredible. How they just zoomed out, and it's you see her face. She's just stuck with all those dead coworkers, and she was still the director. She probably hired those people in the third round, right? She knew everyone there, and then she's stuck in there until his
reaction. Going up the elevator.
Oh, dude, the smile. I thought about making that a thumbnail, and I was is that gonna be a good thumbnail? I'm not sure about that.
What is about to happen to him?
Dude,
he's already been
lose his mind. Man.
Like him talking to the mirror, all the different versions of himself.
Right? No, this is not good for anyone. And he's got super smell, guys. A-Train and that redheaded bitch, the fake CEO or the CEO and lady who plucks her eyebrows out. Dude, she took a shit in his toilet. Right?
Yeah.
Dude, he's going to smell all of that, right? These people are dead. They're dead. So that's enough about Homelander. We're going to move on to the other storyline, and that's Firecracker. Being a little bit of a firecracker. That was so smart. So first off, she called Sister
Pebble down the hill.
Dude, she called Sister Sage uppity, and dude, I sat up in my chair. I was like, "Oh, that's not good. You shouldn't use that kind of terminology. That is gonna bite you in the ass." And then we saw by the end of the episode, it did. Sister Sage basically queued everything up for Starlight to kick the hell out of Firecracker. And she might have killed Firecracker if it wasn't for Huey stopping her, killing her on camera. That was absolutely wild. This is great writing. And just one hell of a fun show. I've really been enjoying this.
I just think it's funny how the controversy these last 2 episodes is conservatives are finally getting the fact that they're being made fun of the whole time in the show, and they've had to make it this apparent. Or it's kind of like with Rage Against the Machine, how conservatives are like, well, they got all political. You know, it's like they've always been political. It's Rage Against the Machine.
Right.
I think this series, it's scary in a way with how close to real life it is with certain things, but the fact that they've had to like use the hammer to be like, we don't like, you know, certain news organizations.
Well,
I think it's funny.
It's been satire, and it's a fun.
Yep. Well,
good.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's satire. Yep.
What's going on with our society and world culture now, right? But like, you know, for instance, the showrunner Eric Kripke, right, said if you don't like it, don't watch it, which is fucking dumb for someone to say. That's not how shows.
That hasn't worked out for.
That hasn't worked out for literally
people saying
zero fucking people, right? Doctor Who's 2 worst viewed shows of all time happened this season after Kitty Gatwa told fans, "Hey, if you don't want to watch it, turn it off. Go touch grass." Right? So maybe instead of you just sucking your own dick and writing whatever you want to, why don't you write a show that the fans want to watch? That'd be cool too.
Well, and I think,
but personally, I really enjoy it. All right, I really enjoy it. I don't have a stick up my ass.
Well, you know, people who can take a joke and understand that it's satire, you know. But I think it's interesting how we have this like weird, you know, didactic here, where we have a show like this, and then we have a show like The Acolyte or Doctor Who, where it's going to the opposite extreme. It's trying to appeal to certain groups, and it's weird. Like, I don't know how to say this. Like the world we currently live in, you know, when it comes to media, how we have shows like The Acolyte, like Doctor Who, and then we have a show like The Boys, and how politics has literally entered into our media. You know, it has become, everywhere. You know, you used to just watch a show and it was a show.
Used to be able to escape.
Now, well, the idea that you have to identify, if I watch this show, it's because I'm of this persuasion. How you get that kind of signaling. I watch this show and I am of left or I'm of the right. It's just kind of funny how politics has even entered into media nowadays.
Yeah, to the point where like people are like just not even gonna watch or claim they don't even enjoy an entire show because all their favorite political people that they align with don't like the show on YouTube or on
exactly.
X. Which I think is a real problem. Which I think, and I'm just obviously I'm a little biased here, but I think Zeitgeist really does solve, because when it's bad, we'll tell you it's bad. When it's too gay, we'll tell you it's too gay. But when it's good and it's just gay enough, oh baby, we'll tell you that too. Yep. And we'll enjoy that just as much.
100%.
Now, I do have a philosophical question. You know, when, like, you know, very homosexual people see heterosexual, you know, stuff on screen, are they like, oh, gross? Like,
wait, are you talking about sex, or are you talking about just actors acting?
Yeah, like sex on screen. You know, like.
Well, I mean, I feel like half of the. Well, you can see from Gen Z. There was a poll that they don't want sex in their TV shows, right? Henry Cavill, a very straight and gorgeous man, has also said that sex in TV shows and movies is gratuitous, right? So there's a lot of heterosexual people that are like, ew, gross, sex on camera, sex on TV. But I can definitely...
Right, but they should just not watch that show, right?
Yeah.
Like...
Wait, is that the answer, though? Is the answer to just
like,
not...
If you don't like something, just don't consume it. Yes, that's the answer.
Okay.
100%.
That's how free markets work.
We go to...
I don't hate that.
Second. Is it second or third episode?
Yeah, I'm a big free market person.
With the sauna
Like, if
scene.
somebody's better, they need to get hired. They get the job.
I like meritocracy, absolutely. All right, I was just philosophically asking you, like, should you turn off the television whenever you hear something you don't like? Because that sounds like an echo chamber, and that's not good. So I think that's a distinction that needs to be made there. What were you saying, Matt?
So I want to be challenged, and the only way to, like, if I don't see something I disagree with, you know what I mean? It only, like, seeing something I disagree with only helps me with my beliefs, because, like, hey, this is why I disagree with it. And at the same time, too, I'm willing to watch a scene like that sauna scene, which is kind of freaky and weird, but hey, doesn't hurt me.
Yeah, nobody wants to see the sauna scene.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see that shit, but it was pretty funny.
But I'm not going to sit here
pretty funny.
and go, oh my god, how dare, I just saw that, ew. It's like, okay, well, some people are like that. That's cool. You know, that's not me. I am not offended by it.
Somebody might have. Some people popped a tent on that one.
Yeah. Hey, some people split into 5 people and then eat their own asses out. Human centipede style. Yeah. But guys, if you're wondering why I'm wearing shades this week, it's because I went to the sauna. That's why I'm wearing shades. All the pink eye.
That's the question. A point of curiosity.
Tip, you're gonna
I don't see the world.
Tip, you're gonna have to find.
Eyes. I only see them through my own eyes.
Tip, you're gonna have to find Wi-Fi.
I will watch hetero, homo, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, as long as it's not like, you know, gross. Well, like, nobody else to see something gross.
So if it's beautiful, you're okay with it. If it was beautiful bestiality, you would watch it?
Yes.
So I guess the issue
is
if
it was
that,
beautiful,
if it kind of serves a purpose to tell the story.
That's my thing.
If it's just gratuitous to be gratuitous, that's another.
Or not gratuitous.
I like.
Why does it have to be at all? Why do I have to know, dude? Like, why are these lesbians? Why are these witches lesbians? Why, if I'm not watching these lesbians bang or make out, how do I know these witches are lesbians? Because the showrunner made it so important to us to all know. Dude, women are close. My wife's got several close girlfriends, right? Maybe, like, you know, they're having an argument. They're not, you know, they're in a stairwell or whatever. That's one thing. But, like, you're making them gay and then you're not showing me have gay sex. Like, why are you making them gay? Like, their sexuality is not important to the story. That's what I'm saying. Like, when I walk into... hypothetically, right? When you walk into, like, a kid's classroom, right? And there's an LGBT flag on anywhere in the classroom. You're like, wait, I'm sorry. I appreciate everyone, and you can do your own thing in your own off time. But why does my kid need to know where you're sticking your dick at night? That's not important. It's not important to the story, and it's not important to the character. Unless it is. If you're going to fuck someone, do it on camera.
So it's... Major, here's my issue with any really politicization of the classroom. First of all, classrooms, so that takes away from your educational mission, because like reading, writing, arithmetic is education, and cultural education comes from
parents,
not public institutions.
Podcasts.
It cannot. Yes, America has been, you know, we've cultured, you know, various generations to various degrees, some better than others, depending on how the administration of the in the school system at the time. But dude, schools suck enough.
Yeah.
Right? Kids are dumb enough to where they don't need to be dumbed down with like cultural garbage. They need to be taught like legit skills. And then the cultural stuff can come outside of the classroom.
Yeah, get indoctrinated in college, right?
Hollywood
right now,
is big on it.
You need to learn the Pythagorean theorem. But really, what we should be teaching is like taxes. You should really learn how to invest and pay taxes.
Correct.
It's
Major. Oh my God.
It's crazy. where you don't teach taxes. Hey guys, there's
like-
2 things guaranteed in death:
Sexuality.
subscribing
Okay,
to this
what about-
podcast
what about
and
math?
taxes, right? And then we're just not going to teach you
Subscribe to
taxes.
this podcast.
Yeah, there's 2 things guaranteed in life: subscribing to this podcast and taxes. And then like you're just not going to teach either of those in high school. I guess that's fucked up. That's so fucked up.
They're all supposed to teach how to subscribe to Zeitgeist Zealots.
Guys, it's so
But
easy. You
here's
just
the
go
thing.
down there, you click that little button. It's like a bell sometimes, and then bada bing, bada boom. I'm in your ears every week. We got Robbie, we got Forrest, Tip, and Matt. It's just one little click, and then all of a sudden, boom, an hour of joy on your way to work. That's what we're here for. Matt, what were you saying?
To kind of end the discussion on The Boys, though, this is what I love about good screenwriting, is that we watch a show, and then now we're having a debate that segues into current politics.
Yeah,
You know,
mhm.
like it makes you think, and it makes you like challenge your beliefs and where you stand. And it's a show. It's literally a show at the end of the day. But here we are discussing, education system in the United States. So
What did
it was just great writing compared to Hot D or The Acolyte.
I was gonna say, what discussion did Hot D prompt? It prompted a discussion about The Acolyte, right? They're so like, that's I will say great acting, very slow writing, but we can't stop The Boys before addressing the worm in the room, and that's Butcher. Guys, what's happening with Butcher? I thought the worm was a hallucination, just like his wife or his ex-wife.
Exploded.
But I can't deny the evidence. Robbie's exactly right. What's that super gay Christian pastor was choking him out and was about to kill him
With the Mr. Fantastic
blacks
arms.
out.
He blacks out.
And then he blacks out, and like I heard just like a high pitch.
That was a fire hydrant move he did on him. Or
I'll tell you what.
whatever he sprayed on his arm.
My initial thought when I
That
heard
was great.
it goes to black, and you
That
hear
was
this.
so funny.
You hear this, and my initial thought was that's too high pitched to be Butcher. Somehow Butcher's still alive. And then, all right, actually no.
Exactly.
First thought was that it went to black, and I was about to see credits. Dude, I've never been so close to just destroying my television.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
If
it went to credits right there, that was.
I was like, dude, the adrenaline was like raising up. I was like getting out of my chair. I was like ready to like destroy my television. I was like, don't go fucking credits right now. And then the episode's still going. The episode's still going. We still got Butcher. And hey, we might have Butcher till season 5 because he apparently took some extra V last season off screen or whatever, or maybe during the in between season. But guys, what's going on? What do you think this worm is in his body? Is this worm real? Does he have a new superpower? Or
I thought it was the compound V that had like gotten. I thought it was the compound V.
He's
That
got something in his.
What if the compound
he have,
V
like, a
has like a
tumor or
blood
something?
clot? What if the compound V is like blood clotting, and then like
That's what I thought.
that's what we're seeing moving around inside of him? But
Well,
Oh.
that's how
what I thought was that it was a blood clot.
So earlier we saw that it was impossible to kill Victoria
No.
Newman, and now we see that the Butcher has the ability not to head pop but to body pop, right?
Yeah, exactly, and that's
it. That's how we do it. This is
her
how-
ability.
this is
but,
how
like,
we do it.
100% better.
Unless Victoria Newman saved him because she has a weird crush on him.
That would be hot. I'd be okay with that.
Ew.
Let's speak about let's talk
I
about
know,
saving for a
I
second.
think I would totally date her. by the way. I
No,
would definitely date her.
nah, she's AOC.
I would
She's just-
100%.
She's AOC
I
satire.
would 100% propose to her and marry her as soon as I.
Would you like my saplings?
To make sure your head doesn't get popped.
Bah! She can pop my head.
Kind of, yes.
Hot
in
Tuah!
in
Dude,
some
can we
ways
just
they're-
call her Hot Tuah girl from now on? Head popper Hot Tuah.
Little reference.
The
Vic-
other head.
Vic-
The other
Vic
head
Tuah!
would-
We'll call her Vic Tuah. That's what we'll do. Guys, all right, speaking of saving.
Yo, that girl. I wonder what her life is like right now.
To just go
bad for
crazy
her, dude.
viral so fast.
No,
like
can
that.
you imagine being in your early 20s, hanging out with your friends, being a little bit too drunk,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody shoves a microphone in your face with a camera, and you just joke with them.
Yeah, it's
and
such a
now
good
you're
joke.
a
Oh,
meme
dude.
going around the world.
So she
on-
got fired.
She's just fucking around. You know?
Yeah,
She's
she
just
got
fucking
so
around.
embarrassed.
she got
She's a
doxxed
meme.
and she got fired. That's a big. Anyone pour one out for Hawk Tuah. Like if your girl's head game sucks, you need to introduce her to Hawk Tuah meme, right? And then pour one
Even
out.
Elon posted a picture of a hawk and just said hawk ...
No,
And then all
Elon.
the comments were just all these memes of the Tuah girl.
Dude, God
Elon
bless.
is so crazy.
I think she honestly increased the head game of the women in America by maybe 10 to 15%. She got fired from her job, which is a damn shame. Allegedly, it might have been a preschool, which, you know, as a parent, Hawk Tuah girl's not who I want raising my kid.
That's who I want.
mean,
That is
dude.
who I want. 100%. 100%.
She got fired.
Yeah, no, she got doxxed
Yeah.
and fired. Yeah, cancel culture, dude. It's awful. You guys
No.
really need to chill the fuck out.
Yeah,
for
we need to like sign a petition, man. I would totally date her too.
Well,
By the way,
Change.org. Let's get
There's a
going.
picture there.
just putting up a hawk. So, guys, comment down below what is your favorite Hawk Tuah meme.
does she have a Patreon? I'm hooking her up, man.
Ah,
That's not fair. She can't be unemployed.
I
Not
don't know. This literally
Not
just
for
broke.
that.
This broke this
Who is she?
morning.
Who is she with?
Or
Or did it not say?
I don't know. They said the details. I didn't write them down because no one should have doxed her. Right? She's, if anything, an American hero. God damn it, dude! I hate America. So, you assholes out there are killing us, dude.
America sucks.
My
sometimes.
wife loved that meme. I've got a buddy on Facebook who has found his fucking purpose, right? This guy is kind of funny, and then Hawk Tuah happened, and he's been on point with the best memes on my page, right? This man has found his
I've been
niche,
seeing some funny ones.
and they're so good, and you fuckers are ruining it. God, just work too hard, or hey guys, you know, Nancy Pelosi is doing some insider trading and just getting mega rich. If you guys just want to fuck with that, and instead of red-blooded Americans who are just getting drunk downtown and trying to Hawk Tuah on it, guys, I fucking hate this and I fucking love you. I think this is a great place to end the podcast.
Yay.
Yeah. Hot D, please be more exciting. The boys, you
Awesome.
chef's kiss. Yeah, you just keep doing you,
And
baby.
And then there's the bastard child, the acolyte.
Yo, so episode 5. All right,
Matt.
there were a lot of lightsaber fights, and it was 80% action. But this isn't where all the budget went, right? So we still have a couple more episodes. There better be like explosions, like planets better be blowing up, right? Master Soul is still alive. He's gonna die, so the Jedi remains like unknown. And also, guys, like I don't know, this Jedi's just a whiny little bitch. Oh, I'm so alone. I just wanted a partner. I just wanted a acolyte. I was like, oh, he said the thing, except I don't care because that's how bad the writing's been so far. So, fuck you, Disney Plus. You don't even get the Family Guy meme for that. As you guys all know, that we are on YouTube. Hopefully, that's where you're watching us now. Zeitgeist Zealots on Instagram, Zeitgeist Zealots. But we're also on X and TikTok for as long as that's still around at Z Zealots Podcast. Although the best way to get in contact with us is just to comment down below. If you really like this episode, which you must have if you're sticking around to this point, we really appreciate it, guys. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, so that we will be in your inbox, not in your inbox, in your feed next week for the next episodes. We really, really appreciate it. Zeitgeist Zealots are here for you. Also, if you guys want us to cover anything, any video games, television shows, comment down below, let us know. Damn, we really appreciate it. What an excellent episode. Matt, Robbie, Tip, thank you so much for us. Holler at your boy later.
I wish I had gotten in on the boys' conversation, but yeah, I went into like a pit of zero reception.
Yeah, we'll get you on that. We'll get you on that hotspot next time, guys. I've been Major.
Oh yeah, Force A here. I'm Robbie.
And finally with a microphone, Matt.
And I'm Chip,
Guys,
bringing up the rear.
Matt's got a microphone now. That means you have to subscribe. We're officially official. See you next week.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.